So some people say, why does OCD feel so real? And you know, guys, it has to feel real, because if it didn't feel real, it wouldn't have a leg to stand on. You'd beat it easy. It has to be real, or has to seem real rather, in order for it to get you worried the way it do. It feels real because there's a lot of fear involved. And you know, it's just like this lane I'm traveling down, okay? If I thought there was somebody at the end of this lane that wanted to harm me in some way, my body would go into a state of fight or flight, and I could become really paranoid about it, and I could be convinced, 100% convinced, that there's somebody at the end of this lane, this pathway, only to find out it was the trees blowing in the wind, you know. So because there's a lot of fear involved, that's why it feels real. That's the short answer. That's the short answer. You know, I've been thinking, I've had this metaphor going around in my head for quite a while. And what we are really, when we are doing compulsions and reacting with fear towards OCD, we are, by definition, a battery. We're a battery. We powering up the OCD through responding to it the wrong way. When you're responding with fear, when you're doing compulsions, you are supercharging the OCD and making sure that it continues. You know, if you have an intrusive thought and you suppress that thought, or you neutralize that thought, what are you doing? You're doing a mental behavior, a mental compulsion. That is being a battery for OCD. You're supercharging it. If you have intrusive feelings and you're distressed because of those feelings, and you ruminate about those feelings, and you do all these different behaviors, what are you doing? You're being a battery for a parasitical disorder. Okay, you're supercharging it. So in the case of intrusive urges, what you do is the same as with intrusive thoughts. You just allow them to be. Same with images. If a person gets urges, you disregard the urge. You disregard the urge. The more you respond negatively, the more you are the battery, the more you are supercharging. So think of yourself as a battery and say to yourself, well, I don't want to be that battery anymore. I don't want to feed this parasite anymore. And take it from there. I tend to watch a lot of no CD videos, okay? I go on the treadmill at the gym and I put my headphones on and I watch some no CD videos, and it's amazing how much you can learn. And the one guy I listen to more than anything is a guy called Dr. Patrick McGrath. And you know, he said something very interesting the other day about groinal responses. And I'm paraphrasing, but he said something like, you know, when you're in a particular situation, what's the worst thing that OCD could do to you to make you feel like it's so real? And OCD thinks, you know, well, I'll give him a groinal response. So you get this groinal response, and it feels very real and it feels overwhelming. And the more you don't want the groinal response, the more you'll get the groinal response. As he put it, kind of. So again, we're going back to this notion of paradoxical effort. The more you don't want something, the more you'll get it. And that don't just go for groinal responses, it goes for thoughts, images, urges. So when you do get a groinal response, instead of ruminating about it and reacting to it with fear, just allow it to be present. And in fact, use a good thing to do. Treat it like a video game, okay? If you get a groinal response, go out and try and get as many groinal responses as you can. You know, go to as many social situations as you can. Go to the gym, go to the shopping mall, go to school, go to work, you know, whatever it is you do. And try and rack up as many groinal responses as you can. And in the moment when they happen, just accept it. Because people say, and there's a reason why I'm saying this, people say, it feels so real, OCD feels so real. You know, I had this groinal response, but you're having it because you don't want it. That's why you're having it. And you know, it's how OCD, you know, OCD hijacks your emotions, it hijacks your feelings. And it feels very real. So one of the ways you can overcome this is to get in contact with your worst possible fear. And when you get in contact with your worst possible fear, your fear will go away. Because it's like Michael Greenberg got his way of dealing with rumination. OCD have got their way of dealing with rumination. ACT and certain other things got their way of dealing with rumination. But I think, and this is just me speaking, if you get in contact with your worst fear, you'll naturally stop ruminating so much. You know, it's like the proverbial bully at work or at school. You know, you'll ruminate about him and dread going to work the next day. But once you confront him and you get it all sorted out, you'll naturally stop ruminating. And I realise that fear and anxiety are slightly different things, but I think in, you know, practical matters, I think that this type of thing works. Instead of running from it, run to it. Anyway, I'm just chilling and enjoying a walk. It's better than staying at home. I'm soaking up the vibes. you.